All right. Sorry for the late start. I apologize. And I have a couple of other apologies to make. But first, let me fix a couple things before we get started. There we go. Hello, everyone. I'm Circuitry, and welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see all of you. I hope you had a wonderful Thursday. Hey, tomorrow's Friday. Really, probably the best day of the week because Friday night, my God, it actually gets wild on Friday nights, especially if you play VRChat. I truly do thank all of you. I kind of want to explain something real quick. I'm just going to briefly touch on this. You might notice that yesterday's stream was removed. I received an email this morning while I was at work, so I couldn't do anything about it, claiming that my video was copyright claimed by UMG which I believe is the same company that owns one of the songs on that stream. So basically, it got blocked in some countries. So you weren't able to watch the stream or watch the video. So what I did was, I said, I just don't want to deal with it. I removed it. And that's the long story short. So lesson learned on that. Lesson learned on that. I'm not going to play that song ever again on this channel. Because major companies are still sticklers even when you can't monetize. So, but hey, they'll take any advantage they can, even though they can pull a few extra cents, a few couple pennies out of your channel. Fuck you, by the way. I don't think you should. I don't think small channels that can't monetize should be copyright claimed, to be honest. I still stand by that. Tonight's a little bit of a different stream. It's not about Skyrim or anything like that. It's actually about a game that I've played for the past 4 years, and I have over 3,500 hours in the game. We're talking, of course, about VRChat. If you did come over from Twitch over here to YouTube, hi. I do appreciate you following me over. We're going to be talking about some stuff tonight, and it's not going to be a long stream. It's going to be a very short stream because I have something that I have to do in an hour from now. So, I kind of want to get through this very briefly, and I'll take your chat, definitely, 100%. Whatever your opinions are on the subject, because I also want to put out my own opinions as well. It's not just about just talking about something, but rather just actually showing all of you. So let's go ahead and kind of get into it and kind of give you kind of a brief. Well, actually, let me go ahead and start from the beginning. All of you know that back in 2018, I left YouTube to go to Twitch. And when I got to Twitch, the first game I started playing was VRChat. Okay? And this came from recommended videos from The Do. It came from recommended videos from Chips, Moxie, Quasi, all those individuals in VRChat. And I became a fan. And then by some sheer stroke of absolute luck, I went into a lobby to say hi to a friend, and Moxie, someone who I'd been following on Twitch, one of the members of that group, happened to be there. And so I went back, I went up to her and I said, the irony, because I had hosted her and she knew my name. She mispronounced it a few times, but after a while she got it right. And she was the first one in VRChat to say my name right. So I went up to her and I said, Moxie, the irony. And she recognized my name tag, even though she had my avatar hidden. I wasn't in full body. I was in a desktop version that actually moved naturally. So, and then from there on out, the snowball effect kicked in, and I started meeting so many great, beautiful people in VRChat. Streamers, content creators, and whatnot. And I will say They're all absolutely wonderful people. I love them with all my heart and soul. And I wouldn't, you know what? I wouldn't have actually traded my experience for anything. I'm actually truly proud that I met these individuals. So from there on out, 2019 going into 20, so I started in August of 2018. And I think that's notable because we'll get to that in a second. Anyway, let me go ahead and get to the reason why I'm here. Is because from 2018, 2019, 2020, I played VRChat all throughout those years. 2021, 2022. I mean, sure, from 2018 to 2022, it would be technically 4 years, but for me, it feels longer than that because of the amount of hours that I put in. But it's not a competition. I'm not trying to compete with anybody in terms of hours of playing games. That's not why we're here. We're here because I saw a twit longer today, and I kind of wanted to address it and add on to it because I truly actually really like this twit longer. Okay, so the twit longer is from a streamer known as Adzy Slayer. Let me go ahead and show you. In fact, I think I can do this. There we go. So Adzy Slayer, and let me get rid of that real quick. Yeah, there it is. Let me get rid of that. All right. So Adzy Slayer basically released a twit longer about this whole thing titled Respect. And when I saw this, I actually was curious. Now, here's the thing. When you title a twit longer just one word, most people will, draw different conclusions to what the twit longer is about. It's almost like looking at a book at face value. You have to read the book in order to understand the context, right? So that's what I did. So what I did was I actually, I don't know why that actually happened. There we go. So I read the twit longer, and here it is. Oh my God, so many damn ads. Get off my screen. Stop seeing this ad. Ad was inappropriate. Close ad. For fuck's sake. Ugh. Trying to give me ads. Fuck off. Alright. So let's start at the beginning. I should have just screenshotted. Fuck off. Close off. Close ad. Fuck off. Alright. Here we are. Now we actually have a twit longer to read. Okay. It's called Respect. And after reading this, I really had a lot of pause for thought. And now I'm not going to get into all of the details, but I definitely want to contribute something to this because when I read this, something clicked in my head. And when it clicks again, we're going to get right into it. All right. After having some conversations last night, I came to a big realization with one of the core issues with the VRChat streaming community has been, and I want to talk about it with you all. A lack of mutual respect, a lack of give when it comes to give and take. Everybody wants to take, everybody wants to grow themselves. Very few people want to give back anything anymore. People just assume that everybody should grow on their own backs, when most of us didn't do that. Some of us, I'm not saying nobody has. All right. That first sentence, the first thing that pops into my head was grow on. That's the mentality that I had. All right. When you say grow on their own backs, I was one of those people that wanted to grow on my own. I didn't ask anyone to advertise me. I've never, to this day, you cannot find any proof that I actually promoted myself in any capacity, with exception to posting to a couple of Discords because friends asked me to. But I've never gone up to a streamer in VRChat and said, "Are you a streamer?" I mean, yeah, I am, but I mean, I'd rather you don't have to promote me. That's always been my take. VRChat is a social game. The whole point is to mix and mingle. And back in 2018, what some people call the golden days of VRChat, I agree, 100%. There was so much more of that happening. And the main reason it did was because of a mutual respect between everybody. Now, here's where I want to stop him. It wasn't mutual respect. Okay? It was not a mutual respect, Adzi. It was a level of trust that we all had between each other. A level of trust. Now, here's one thing you need to know about trust. All right? And this goes for all of you. If you want to be a content creator on Twitch, on YouTube, on Instagram, on Snapchat, on TikTok, wherever you want to be a content creator, understand one thing. Trust is the foundation of any community. It is the foundation. What I mean by that is you cannot have a community you cannot have a loving and trusting community without trust being the foundation of the entire community. Because trust in and of itself, I think, I'm not talking about loyalty. There's a difference between the two. I'm talking about trust. Trust in and of itself, where your community will stand with you and they will hold you accountable stand with you when you're right and hold you accountable when you're wrong. That is trust. Not loyalty. Loyalty is the exact opposite of that. Loyalty is no matter whether you're right or wrong, we're going to stand with you regardless. That's loyalty. Okay? And I don't believe in loyalty. I believe in trust. I am loyal to some people, but I mean, loyalty really should be only reserved for family members, like your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your cousin, your aunt, your uncle, everybody. But as far as the internet goes, loyalty should be stricken from the record entirely. It is trust. And what's happened over the course of the past few years and what I've seen over the 3,500 hours that I have is the trust in this community has really degraded over time. And it's come from several different incidents and happenings that have happened in VRChat. Everything from cancel culture to several people being outed by the community. I mean, whether they were, cheating on Twitch or whether they were doing something deplorable on VRChat, I think over time, everything just started to degrade. And along with that, communication as well. I think communication and transparency have also degraded over time. And because more streamers would rather stay in private worlds with their trusted friends, like people they have their inner circle and no one else is allowed inside of that circle, and they are never going to touch a public lobby ever again. Whereas back in 2017, 2018, they were going to public lobbies like it was a fucking In-N-Out. But nowadays, even I went to public lobbies back in 2018, 2019. It was absolutely fun to talk to people. I mean, that's the whole point of VRChat is, like Adzi says, it is a social interactive simulator. My words, not his. But he says it's a social game. The whole point is to actually talk to people. And I believe that. But what happened is, I'm going to go ahead and go back into the twit longer because it actually does get a little bit more convoluted. A little bit. Just a little bit. The whole point is to mix and mingle back in 2018. Some people call it the golden years. It was golden days. There was so much more of that happening. And the main reason it did was because there was a mutual respect between everybody. I actually just explained why that wasn't the case. Little things such as saying, go check out this person. They do this kind of content and they're really awesome about it. that may have happened to some creators, but not all of them. Or in my personal case, if somebody requests a song and I say actual cup of noodles, okay, all right. Basically, it's just basically, hey guys, if you like this guy, go check him out. Like basically what he's explaining is that there was more of a mutual love in VRChat. I would agree to some extent. I would definitely agree to some extent, but at the same time, there wasn't in some cases. Like the bigger streamers really didn't mingle with the smaller streamers as much as people think they did. Only if they were a part of an RP, or if they were a part of a project, or if they were involved in some type of group. Like, trust me, I hung out with a ton of streamers. And I can tell you right now, I've never asked a single one of them to promote me. Whether they were big, whether they were small. It doesn't matter. But this is something that rarely happens anymore. It does rarely happen anymore because of the next paragraph, but we'll get to that in a second. When back in the day, it used to happen constantly. I don't remember it happening constantly, to be honest. And maybe it happened in other communities that I wasn't paying attention to, but it wasn't happening in mine. I can tell you that much. And all I did was I was a jumper. And what I mean by that was I would jump from friend to friend to friend saying, hi, how are you doing? Are you doing okay tonight? I just wanted to chill and relax and hang with friends. I wasn't an RPer. I wasn't like anyone of any notoriety. I just wanted to chill and hang out with friends, and I wanted to stream my experience. That was really it. I mean, it was my content, but I still had fun. We would make jokes, we'd have laughs, we'd have drinks and stuff like that. That was what it was for me. It wasn't about, like, sure, I was happy I was growing, but I had one person, I remember back in 2019, I was ironically called a legend, and I don't ever consider myself that. There are people who know me, and that's fine. I'm okay with that, but I don't think I would call myself that. Not today, because I don't see myself as a legend. I still see myself as somebody who's trying to get somewhere, because I haven't gotten there yet. And all right, so this rarely happens anymore. When back in the day, it used to happen constantly because it was give and take, not just take. And I'm directing this more to the smaller streamers that more recently try to get close to larger streamers, and they try to get closer to those streamers just to help themselves grow and hope they get a shout out. But these small streamers very rarely will try to give anything back to the larger streamers. They try to use the interactions they have with larger streamers to build their audience without giving anything back to that streamer. So the larger streamer's audience shrinks, and they didn't get anything positive out of that interaction for their career. All right, I agree with this 100%. I agree with that 100%. But again, I am not one of those people that did that. First of all, I didn't care how big you were on Twitch. I didn't care how small you were on Twitch. I didn't care about numbers. Numbers mean shit to me. Numbers mean shit to me. All right? But at the same time, I understand where that mentality comes from. And it's because of this attitude that we actually hit a stigma. And I want to talk about that stigma real quick. It's the paranoia. Now, this was brought up in I wouldn't recommend watching the video because it's too long. But in the video that was titled My Response to Mia the Fox TV with Friends, one of my friends in that video was called Metal Bro. And Metal Bro actually brought up a really good point in that response. And that was, people in VRChat don't feel like they're actually friends with each other in VRChat. And this is a stigma that has grown over the years, and it leads to a paranoia to streamers who actually say, well, okay, is this really my friend, or is it someone who's using me for content? Am I actually a person to this guy or this person? Or am I just a background, like a vase in the background sitting on a table? I mean, this stigma is real, and many streamers have caught this stigma because of their success. Many big streamers, and that's why they don't go to public lobbies. They don't meet new people. I mean, hell, I've been blocked multiple times. But when it comes to that kind of stuff, I understand the stigma, but I understand the paranoia. But at the same time, that paranoia needs to be put. And we'll get to that just a little bit later. But and to the point that I'm actually trying to make. But I understand that. And that's one stigma that a lot of people really don't talk about in VRChat. That's a stigma that really just goes unrecognized and unnoticed. And I wish it would actually be addressed, at least in some form of like I'll get into this later. Let's just get back to the twit longer because I'm jumping way ahead of myself because I have a ton of stuff that I want to talk about towards the end. So I feel like this is a big reason that a lot of large streamers decide to stay out of public lobbies and Friends Plus lobbies. Yes, thank God I called it. Because they were sick of being used. The term clout chaser got thrown around. This term, I think, sums up people who use people for their clout, but not given anything in return. And that just basically defines the stigma that I just talked about. People who are friends with each other in VRChat don't feel like they're actually friends with each other in VRChat. And at that point, do they feel like a piece of property or do they feel like an actual person? And that's really the stigma, and that's what leads to the paranoia that I just talked about. A question I want to ask you, is this okay? Is it okay to treat a large content creator this way? No, it's not. I know there is a mentality of, but they're too big to fail, so why should they care? That is fucking stupid. All right? First of all, you're never too big to fail, okay? You can be on top of the mountain, and all it takes is someone to just push you off. And guess what? Gravity's not on your side. You're just going to fall off the mountain. All it takes is one push, a significant push, especially in today's cancel culture. We've seen it happen to multiple streamers. We've seen it happen to multiple YouTubers. All it takes is a single push, and they're gone, like fairy dust. So, I can understand the paranoia. But the term clout chaser, I think really is fucking stupid because, I mean, really, first of all, I'm not a clout chaser. So many people who in VRChat know me know that I've never really promoted myself at all. Okay? So, I don't think I'm a clout chaser. I don't think I qualify. All right, back to where I was. And the answer is we all care. Everybody on this platform in the VRChat category wants to keep their audience or grow. And when people take from them and give nothing back, that hurts the person's career, it hurts the person's growth, and it is really disheartening. It leads to people being unable to trust others because they don't know if they're trying to get close to them because they have lots of viewers, and they may raid them or they may shout them out, etc. Just basically sums up everything I just said. And it also goes back to what I just said from Metal Bro. And I think Metal Bro hit the nail on the head 3 years ago before this Twit Longer ever came out. Like, this was something that actually got hit on the head before it was even a thing. A mutual respect relationship should be give and take, even if the streamer is way larger than you. Shout them out, raid them if you want to show them respect that they have shown you. You may want to only have a small voice, but a small voice can carry. And that little respect you show them gets paid back to you and everybody wins. Not everybody, okay? I tell you right now, I have, here's the thing. I understand this is support. What he's talking about is support for, like basically it's just like, first of all, don't ever expect anything from the opposing party. All right? This is one of the biggest flaws of this Twit Longer right here, is that the expectation of if I give you something, I can take something from you. No. That should be wrong. It's not a give and take relationship. You always give if somebody treats you with respect, if they are giving you respect, you give respect in return. It's a give and give. All right? Not give and take. Give and give. I prefer give and give over give and take, because give and take is basically, it's like I give you something, I expect something in return. That is selfish. I prefer give and give. I give you something, you give me something. Okay? That is more mutual because I'm not expecting you to give me something. All right? I've never first of all, I've never expected anything from anyone on this platform. Not on YouTube, not on Twitch, not on Twitter, nothing. I've always preferred to actually give and expect give. And if it doesn't happen, you know what? You move on with your day. It's like poker. All right? Coming from somebody who's played poker for years, one of the unsung rules of poker is, all right, you play a hand, you lose the hand, you lose a lot of money. You know what? You forget that hand, you move on to the next one. You know, because if you dwell on that hand, it actually ruins, it's going to demoralize you from playing the next one. And if this mentality is applied to VRChat streamers, guess what? No one's going to ever expect give and take. Give and take doesn't work. It should never work. All right? I don't want a community of people where give and take is actually a thing, because it doesn't work. All right? If you give something to somebody and you expect something back and they don't give it to you, that's demoralizing to you. Guess what? Then you're going to be less reluctant to give them anything in the future. But if it's a give and give relationship where you give them to something, you expect something, but you get nothing, but you know what? You move on to the next one. You know what? You just give. All right? Why can't we just give? I mean, for fuck's sake, it's not like we're giving them money. If you give them attention and stuff like that, fine. We're talking about currency that is basically free. You know, sure, they grow, they become bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's fine. But to expect something in return is selfish. And it can actually demoralize you and actually be like, why am I doing this in the first place? And it can actually just lead you to being someone that you're going to be horribly monsterized for eventually down the line. So my advice to you watching right now, if you're a content creator on Twitch, on YouTube, whatever, if you play VRChat or you don't play VRChat, do never, ever expect a give and take relationship. Do not take one. Instead, I ask you to do this. Do a give and give relationship. A give and give relationship, like I just explained, you give them something, but don't expect them to give you anything. But if they do give you something, it's going to be even more rewarding when they give it to you. Okay? Because give and take only leads people down a more treacherous mentality than what we have. So anyway, the next part of the Twit Longer goes through a bunch of big streamers, people that I follow. Some people are good, some people are bad, but I mean, I just want to get to the end. We can be one big community again if we remember to give as well as take. No. Give and take does not work. All right? Give and take leads to a horrible mentality. I know we all want to grow, but why not help everybody else grow too? Hashtag we grow together. Hey, Maztec gang, you here? I mean, Maztec. That was his hashtag. Hashtag we grow together. I brought that from YouTube to Twitch. And it belongs to him. 100% belongs to him. But the saying, I still lived by it. 100%. And I mean, I agree. If we all show each other a mutual respect and we all work towards that goal, everybody wins. All right, that ends the Twit Longer. Now let me give my actual opinions on this whole thing. Click the wrong button. Sorry. Here's what I got from this whole thing, because I saw videos of people basically saying extremely horrible things going on in VRChat. And first of all, I understand everyone's hatred for this, okay? When we're talking about, I'm not monetized, so I can say this stuff. When we're saying stuff like there are pedophiles and child grooming going on in VRChat, okay, that's fine. Did you know that there are two types of people out there? All right, I'm not talking about Republicans or Democrats. I'm not talking about liberals or conservatives. I'm talking about two types of people. All right, you have A, the people who talk about the problem, and B, the people who talk about the solution. Now, let me show you how that conversation would go. The person who says the problem is, oh my God, there are child groomers and child predators in VRChat. And the person on the other side would go, okay, all right, now we know the problem. Let's try to figure out a solution. And the other person goes, oh, no. You have to understand, we have a problem here. There are pedophiles in VRChat. And the people go, all right, we already know this, but we need to sit down, calm down, and actually talk about the solution to the problem. He's just like, no, you don't understand the problem. Do you know what that is? I just gave you a very clear example of a person who wants to talk about the problem, but not come to any solution. We call these people consistent bitches, because they always want to bitch about problems. They just want to bitch about problems, but not find solution to the problems, whereas the other side actually wants to come up with a solution to the problem. So if you talk about the problem, only the problem, you're just bitching, moaning, and complaining for no reason. We already know what the problem is. Where's the solution to the problem? Okay. Well, these people want to find a solution to the problem, so let's try and sit them down and have a discussion about it. Nope. They don't want to sit down and talk about the problem, or they don't want to talk about solutions to the problem. They want to talk about just the problem. Okay, fine. All right, you just want to talk about the problem. You're just bitching on Twitter for no reason. You're doing it to get more likes and favorites on your fucking Twitter. Congratulations. That's all you are. So, with that being said, yo, what's up? I'm doing good. Fox. Here's the thing. One of the arguments that I've seen over the course of the past couple of years is people making videos saying that they've caught child predators or child groomers in VRChat. Okay, fine. That's great. Good. And the argument overall, if you generalize it, is there are pedophiles and child groomers in VRChat. Okay. We know this. I got some breaking news for you. Breaking news just in, right now. Opening it up. Get this. According to what it says on my screen, I'm just kidding. There are pedophiles and child groomers in every fucking video game that children play. You fucking morons. Because guess what? Children surprisingly play video games. And you can name any video game that you want. It could be Minecraft. It could be Roblox. It could be Call of Duty, Battlefield, Apex Legends, Fortnite. It could be, name it. Grand Theft Auto, San Andreas. Grand Theft Auto Online. Children play these games. And pedophiles play these games because children do. And they can lure them in. It's like people wonder why flies fly around a fucking buzzer. And ironically, how did these kids get their hands on these games, you might ask? It's not like little Timmy down the street has $60 in his piggy bank. If I'm thinking about it. Like Winnie the Pooh sitting on his tree trunk. Think. think. Oh, the parents are buying it for him. Wow, what a fucking shocker. The parents are buying it for him. Now, that's another whole argument of the conversation, which is there should be more oversight. First of all, parents don't. And this leads me to my next thing, and this is probably going to be the most controversial thing I'm ever going to say on this channel. And I know I'm going to get shit in the comments, but you know what? I'm actually going to mute my music for this so that this way all of you can hear me properly. I'm going to get a shit ton of shit for this, but I got some bad news for you. All right? I want to make sure that I'm very clear when I say this. Unless it's in the moment or you're a parent, a majority of people don't give a fuck about children. I will repeat that. Unless it's in the moment or you're a parent, a majority of people don't give a fuck about children. There we go. I gave it to you twice. Is it clear what I'm saying? And I know a lot of you are like, well, what are you talking about? I like children's circuitry. I'm sure you do. I'm not saying you don't. But if you're putting yourself in the minority, if you're putting yourself in the majority, then guess what? I think you might actually hate children. And by the way, this isn't me just ranting or raving. I actually have some evidence to back up my claim. Let me take you back to 1994. Back when the days of Doom, Doom 2, Mortal Kombat, Wolfenstein, games like this that were very violent, very bloody for their time period came out. A bunch of teachers, a bunch of parents, a bunch of clergymen, a bunch of lawyers, and congressmen came together and created the Entertainment Software Ratings Board, otherwise known as the ESRB. You know, those wonderful people that like to put labels on the side of video games to make sure that violent content doesn't get in front of the eyes of children who are not appropriate, that is not age appropriate. You know, those people. Yeah. We are, since 1994, we are 28 years removed since that organization was established. They have rated millions of games at this point, probably. And I'm happy to say that after 28 years in service, they have been a complete fucking failure because we still see prepubescent kids in Call of Duty. We see prepubescent kids in Grand Theft Auto. I mean, Fortnite, I'm pretty sure is E for everyone, so that doesn't even count. But at the same time, where are the kids getting this money? The parents. The parents are buying the video games for the child. You mean to tell me that a company like the ESRB can't regulate children buying video games that are more mature than what they should be? Okay. Good to know. But if you want a more morbid example, okay, I got one for you. Let's talk about all the school shootings that have occurred over the past 20 years. More than 20 years. Going as far back as Columbine, Sandy Hook, you know. Let's talk about a more recent one. Back in 2018, February 14th, the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School shooting. 17 dead. 3 of them faculty members, 14 children. A 19-year-old monster went into a school with an AR. Okay. During that whole ordeal, do you know what the other political party was pushing? Gun control. They were using children. They were using children to push this agenda. And we are over 4 years removed from that shooting. Where the fuck are the kids? You cared about them back then. Where are they now? I haven't heard shit from any of them. All I've heard was that you used them as a spear point to push your own fucking agenda. So as far as I'm concerned, politicians, parents, teachers, clergymen, they don't give a fuck about children unless it's in the moment. And what I mean by that is, well, the moment was the school shooting. Now, you might be watching this and thinking, well, I'm a streamer, and I actually, I raised money for, say, St. Jude's Children's Hospital. We raised money for children with cancer. Okay. After your stream went offline, what did you think about after that? Did you think about the kids? Did you care about the kids? Did you care about them 24 hours after that? Or 48 hours after that? Or a week after that? Because to me, you only care about them in the moment. And if you're a parent, which is what I said earlier, unless it's in the moment or you're a parent. And what I mean by that is, if you're a parent, you care about your child. You don't give a fuck about Timmy down the street. Timmy is not your responsibility. Timmy is Timmy's parents' responsibility. So, really, to sum this whole thing up, the only purpose of children in terms of a political debate or anything like that is to supplement your argument, to make it more valid to the community. Otherwise, you don't give a flying fuck about children, unless the aforementioned is required, unless it's in the moment, such as a school shooting, or you're a parent, in which case you care about your kid, you give a fuck about the rest of the students at the school, unless you're babysitting. And the reason I bring this up is because most people brought up the 13 plus thing. First of all, majority of these people in VRChat don't give a flying fuck about children. They don't. They really fucking don't. It's only a supplement to actually add to their argument and make it more valid to the public, which is why I went through that whole tirade just now, so that you would understand what I'm trying to tell you. When it comes to children, these fuckers don't fucking care about children. You know what they care about? They care about more titties. They care about actually preserving their way of actually enjoying themselves however they want. Okay, that's fine. Don't ever bring up kids again. And also, going back to what I said about talking about the solution, talking about the problem, my belief is if all you're going to do is bitch about the problem online, you have no right to bitch about the problem. Instead, come up with a solution. Because, by the way, the solution brought up by most people in terms of VRChat, I got news for you. It's not a developer problem. Most people say, what are the developers going to do? What are the developers going to do? I got news for you. It's not a developer problem. It is a community problem. And right now, this community is incredibly torn in half since 2018 because of what I talked about. The whole stigma around the streamers being paranoid about whether they are friends with people or whether they're not friends with people. The biggest issue is when it comes to... Oh, this, I lost my train of thought. Shit. Fuck. I had it and then I lost it. My biggest pet peeve is that when you have people that talk about the solution, talk about the problem. Let's go from there. The problem is that they don't want to solve the problem. They just want to bitch about it. And these are people who don't want a solution. I understand that. Okay, fine. You have no right to talk about the problem ever again then. All right. That's cool. That's fine. We're okay with that. But now here's the thing. Here's the one reason why this community, it just came back to me. The one reason why this community has degraded over time is because the trust in the community has degraded over time, the communication has degraded over time, and the transparency has degraded over time. Like, streamers don't want to go to public lobbies. Twitch streamers don't want to go to public lobbies. They don't want to do that. Instead, what they want to do is actually just They just want to stream and they want to show their ass and tits and make money off of it. That's all they want to do. Because they realize trying to meet new people and make new friends doesn't make them money anymore. Sure, okay, fine. You have no right to ever bitch about anything ever again then. Because if you just talk about the problem and not a solution to the problem, guess what? You are the problem. My solution is this, okay? If you want to solve the problem that's going on in VRChat right now, for example, talking about child predators, we're talking about child grooming. If you want to solve problems like that, this is a community issue. This is a community issue that needs to be solved. And the only way that we can solve it is by being a community again, establishing communication, establishing transparency, establishing trust between each other again. This is not an easy task. It's not something that can be done overnight. But if we want to solve these types of problems as a community, then we need to come together as a community. We need to actually listen to each other, talk to each other. We need to have town halls. That would be a great idea, whether it be on VRChat or on Discord. Open up a VRChat town hall Discord. Some place where we could go and we could all voice our opinion and voice our concerns over what's going on in the game. Voice our discoveries. Like if somebody's being a sexual predator or something like that, put everybody on notice. Communication, trust, transparency. We need to build these up again. Because if we don't, then the problem is only going to persist and continue. Right now, we are dealing with a problem that the solution for that, we don't exactly have. We don't have the capacity to solve that problem because we lack those three fundamental characteristics. And they're so weak and they're so miserably small that we can't do anything about it. So my thought process behind this whole thing is, let us start creating our own community hubs. Go on Discord, create a Discord account. Let's start talking to each other. Whether we know each other or not, let's meet for the first time. Let's talk. Let's actually communicate. Let's build a level of trust. And by doing that, we can expand this. Now, understand, think of a good analogy. Think of a tree. Tree goes up really tall, about 20, 30 feet, has about, 70, 100 branches, and each branch has tiny little twigs, adds up to around 10,000. Those tiny little twigs represent every single community, a group of friends, people that you know, some people you don't. But the one thing that connects all of us is the trunk of the tree. That trunk is VRChat. And we should all be able to access it without any reason, without any problem at all. Now, I understand a lot of people watching this. This is a topic that you don't like, but I had to get this off my chest because I want to at least feel like I'm getting this, putting my notes on paper. I'm not disagreeing entirely with what Adzi said on Twitter. I don't disagree with this twitlonger at all. And by the way, I don't condone any hatred being sent to anybody. I would never do that. But one thing that I do hope is that if anyone from the VRChat community sees this and actually watches it and listens to everything that I say to the very end, you at least understand where I'm coming from. If you want to solve problems in this community, we actually have to act and behave like a community. We cannot just pretend to be a community. We have to behave and act like one. And the first step to that is actually talking to each other rather than just ignoring each other. Okay? I think I've gotten my point across. And I hope that somebody out there will actually understand. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Leave a like on the video because this was a very tough subject to get through. And also let me know in the comment section what you think. What are your thoughts on this whole thing? Obviously, not a lot of my audience knows what VRChat is. Very soon they will. But I got to get off for the night because I actually have to take care of some stuff. Again, apologies for deleting the last one, but I do appreciate it. And VRChat, if you want to start solving problems, then stop bitching about them and start doing something about them. Good night, everybody.